Have you ever questioned whether you are sick enough? Whether you truly have an eating disorder or are just a fraud? If you are dealing with eating disorder imposter syndrome, you are in the right place because today's episode is all about how to tell if you are truly sick enough. Welcome to Live Label Free, the podcast where we talk about all things eating disorder recovery, autism, entrepreneurship, and so much more. I'm your host, Livia, and my mission is to inspire individuals from across the globe to live a life in which they feel fulfilled and free from limiting labels. I am so excited to have you here and cannot wait to dive into the episode. You think about food all the time. You obsess over when, what, and how much you're going to eat. You feel you need to exercise to deserve food and fear what would happen if you just, quote-unquote, gave in and just let yourself eat whatever and whenever you wanted. Yet still, you don't think you're sick enough. Why is this? Or perhaps a better first question to ask is, how do we define sick enough? Well, there's obviously no dictionary definition of the term sick enough, making it highly subjective. This subjectivity is the very reason why so many people with eating disorders don't perceive the true severity of their illness, because the very nature of the eating disorder is to manipulate your subjective views. Your eating disorder completely distorts your frame of reference, taking your true core beliefs and twisting them to match its own. So when we zoom out and look at the eating disorder behaviors, we see that your eating disorder tells you to restrict when you are actually being tantalized by mental hunger. Your eating disorder forces you to work out when you are actually exhausted and just want to rest. Your eating disorder is hyper aware of what everyone else is eating so that you can compare, while all your true self really wants is to eat whatever you want to eat. Are you ready to kick extreme hunger to the curb and finally feel satisfied in every sense of the word? Well, you are in luck because I have created the world's very first course that teaches you exactly how to beat extreme hunger and overcome all of the challenges that come with it. Whether you want to learn how to get rid of mental hunger, heal your digestive issues, accept weight gain, let go of food guilt, or all of that and more, my course, Extremely Hungry to Completely Satisfied, is the all-in-one resource I wish I had during one of the scariest periods of my life. Full of video presentations, lessons, and worksheets, my course combines scientific research with years of personal experience to yield a step-by-step framework that provides you with tangible action steps. People who have worked through the course have regained their periods, let go of food guilt, and completely shifted their mindset to come from a place of fear and scarcity to a newfound love for life. All in just 8 weeks. The best part is, I am so confident that this course is exactly what you need to achieve a life of freedom that I offer a 100% satisfaction, risk-free guarantee, meaning if you go through the course, put in the work, and don't get any results, I'll give you a full refund, no questions asked. So truly, you have nothing to lose and everything to gain. Enroll in my Extreme Hunger course today by clicking the link in the description below or visiting the link livelabelfree.com/extreme-hunger-course. That's livelabelfree, like the name of this podcast, .com/extreme-hunger-course. I am beyond excited for you to let go of a life that revolves around food and instead gain a life that revolves around your life. After all, you've only got one. Now, let's get back to today's episode. Your eating disorder pulls you into a life that revolves around food and exercise because that's all it needs to survive. But just like a virus or a parasite that can only survive when it has a host, an eating disorder can only survive within you, its host. So, as you can imagine, an eating disorder will do anything and everything it can to make you believe you need it. Admitting that you're sick enough would mean choosing recovery, and that's exactly what the eating disorder does not want. So your eating disorder comes up with excuses to tell you that whatever problems you have with food, whatever problems you have with exercise, that they're not quote-unquote bad enough to count as real problems. When the true you thinks that maybe, just maybe, this is serious and you are deserving of help, the eating disorder jumps in to tell you that you're a fraud. When the true you admits that you are constantly thinking about food and thus need to eat more, the eating disorder discounts you by saying that the mental hunger is probably just a bad habit. Or something I hear all too often when I ask people why they don't think they're sick enough has to do with not being clinically underweight or not being as thin as someone else with an eating disorder. But this again is simply an excuse of the eating disorder, because eating disorders have nothing to do with weight. They're a mental prison. The very fact that you believe you're not sick enough simply justifies how sick you really are, because that is how submerged you are in the depths of the eating disorder's ocean of disordered beliefs. As long as you try and swim in that infested water and engage in the behaviors you know are keeping you stuck, you will not believe you're sick enough. So stop swimming in the eating disorders ocean. And before you think, well, I still think it's not that bad, let me tell you this. If any aspect of your life is compromised by disordered eating behaviors, you are sick enough. You are sick enough and you need help. There is no mold you have to fit in order to have an eating disorder, and there is most definitely no definitive point you need to be at to reach a state of sick enough. To your eating disorder, sick enough means dead, and the world needs you. And what I needed when I was sick was someone who understood me, someone who listened, and someone who held my hand while I embarked on my journey to freedom. That's why I created my one-on-one coaching program and my extreme hunger course, so that you can learn from someone who's been there, done that, and came out stronger because of it. You can learn more about everything I have to offer on my website at livelabelfree.com, and I hope to see you there. Bye-bye now.